Like they say in The Wolf of Wall Street, sell me that pen. In this case, Brian Von Vier here, we're talking about DMs. Give me an elevator pitch for your campaign. Not the DM, but a player in this one. Campaign starts off with the party walking into town and getting hired to deal with bandits. Party finds evidence these thugs work for someone else. A few seemingly unrelated quests provide more hints of something bigger going on, until the town is attacked by an army of mercenaries with steam-propelled scorpion mechs. So, my DM decided to run a campaign where I played a retired adventurer that has left his old ways and faked his own death to escape his underworld associates. He settled down with a new wife while quietly remembering his late wife, Helen. He was content to live a peaceful life in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, where he spent the last 10 years building a life. One dark day, a man approached him, an ill omen that only appeared before misfortune struck. "Nobody escapes the high table, John. Not even a dead man." He placed a single gold coin on the table before him, then walked away. And thus began the homebrew adventure of John Wick, 5th edition, Infatium Vote. I can't even say it! I can't. And she offered him Wolf. It's roll the initiative in Latin, or at least that's what Google Translate says. Yeah, Latin's a dead language. It's hard to do, but man, I'm excited for this campaign. A big bad evil guy of evil and chaos was slain by heroes of another story. The balance of good, evil, law, and chaos is now thrown out of balance, heavily favoring good and law. You must work with a syndicate of villains to bring back the balance by fighting lawful extremists, heroes doing unjust acts outside the public eye, and other villains wanting to take it too far among other people. You are trying to unite a pantheon of minor gods. A great old one is causing ripples that blur the lines of reality as it thrashes in its man-made prison. The god of death is trying to break through into the mortal realm and extinguish all of life. Oh, and you're all in a Neolithic setting that predates the formation of the multiverse. You, yes you, tired of one-shots that lead nowhere? If so, I have the campaign for you. Journey across the world of insert working title as you uncover the dark secrets threatening not only the dwarven capital, but all life as you know it. I really want insert working title to be the name of the world. The gods were just too lazy to name it, said it offhandedly, and it just got passed down as the name of the world. Standard, not as a DM but a player. A dark fantasy set in a medieval world where learning magic has been outlawed by God himself, and to use spells means instant execution. All the while, there are events unfolding revolving all the various noble families, which includes the mystery of who tried to frame an innocent woman of poisoning someone, the identity of a murderer, if there are assassins among the traveling circus, and a warning that an entity of death gave to one particular noble family, the one the party's affiliated with, about how they are trapped in the middle of everything. A total jackass of an archmage summoned 4 heroes against their will to prevent a god from reviving by collecting magic rocks. My campaign is set in the typical D&D fantasy world. Aspects of Industrial Revolution are appearing in the larger and richer cities. The plot centers around a group of Squirrel artificers. They're using their magic floating fortress to fight eldritch monstrosities. Oh my god, squirrels! The party is blackmailed into helping an infamous thief collect valuable treasure for him around the continent. As time goes on, the party notes of something darker than it seems. The gems they've been gathering have a dark entity within them, and the thief they're working for is under possession of the god of chaos. They're now trying to stop, because with every treasure they collect, they only make him stronger. Party is trying to stop people from resurrecting an ancient demon. The ancient demon cult needs all the special infused skulls, and the party is trying to get as many as they can out of the cultist's hands to make for the chance for the ritual's completion as small as possible. They have no idea that the ritual requires all 13 skulls. Little do they know, they have a traitor in their midst. Dun 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 dun. The setting is in the state of post-apocalypse after a devastating war between the goddess of life and the goddess of destruction and their followers, to the point where civilization has been reduced to a handful of city-states protected by the last blessing of the goddess of life after sealing away the god of destruction. Giant towers of crystal formed of what remained of her own essence that protect those within its boundary from the followers of the god of destruction. Now, centuries later, the PCs are a part of the newly formed Adventurers Guild, sent out in hopes of slowly reclaiming the land and making the first steps towards the resurgence of civilization, unaware that the followers of the god of destruction are plotting their god's return. Welcome to the Dead God's Dream. The characters must go on a quest to gather a whole bunch of rings that give the wearer some serious buffs, all in order to keep them out of the hands of the enemy that wants to conquer the world with them. It's a basic fairy tale plot, and I will say it was stolen from Fire Emblem Engage, but I think it's a good way to get some players used to 5th edition. Long ago, the lizard folk kingdom of Chandel once stood as the glimmering jewel of the Gandred Desert, a beacon of wealth and learning until the kingdom and its people fell overnight on a day that no magic can scry upon. It's as if the date had never existed. Now, 1,700 years later, the humanoid races have colonized the continent and have built the clockwork city of Kanar in the sprawling caves beneath the desert sands. An archaeologist has recovered what he believes to be a Chandelan relic that will piece together the missing history and seeks the aid of adventurers to act as bodyguards as he journeys to the surface to find the truth of that fateful day amongst the scorching wastes. But take heed, young adventurer. Some secrets should remain unknown, and some things are better left lost to time. Uncharted meets post-apocalyptic sci-fi world. Takes place on a planet recovering from an intergalactic war. The population of this planet is now only 1/10 of its pre-war number. Civilization is rebuilding and they finally have a college. The players are all college students at that college who go searching for pre-war tech to pay for their tuition. As they explore, they find hints of a tech that will literally change their civilization for the better. But there is a rival group that is searching for the tech so that they can use it to exploit the survivors. This game will take place over 8 to 12 sessions, each being a semester or a break during the school year. As the players advance, they take new courses and thus learn their new skills. Cowboys and Wizards. The final heist is robbing the largest gold depository on the continent. The party is journeying east to west towards the depository, making money as outlaws along the way. A recently resurrected cult leader wizard who can only use magic by siphoning it and has a taste for dragon, kidnaps the wrong dragon. The dragon's father, a stellar dragon who also happens to be the creator of this world, commissions the party to go save the kidnapped young stellar dragon. This starts the journey of cat and mouse to stop the wizard from siphoning enough power to raise an ancient floating city back into the sky. Have you ever felt you were meant for greatness? That your fate was more than a 9 to 5? Upon finding an artifact known as a jump point, you find yourself flung from your average, normal, modern-day life to the dangerous, exciting, and rewarding multiverse. As you travel between worlds, you begin to hear a voice beckoning you. Great heroes of all the worlds, I call to you. Find me and save the universe. In this exciting adventure, you can travel the worlds, facing unbelievable creatures, meet people for the first time multiple times, find magical and technological items alike, all while searching for the voice that calls to you from the place where fates collide. I really like this idea, plus it works well as an elevator sketch. A regular modern world. Players make normie humans, all base 8 to 12 stats. Then they all find magic leaking out onto the world, stumbling together in a pocket dimension to party up. Then, after their first nights, they start showing signs of transformations to their selected races. Body horror ensues. Eventually, you have NPCs who interact with the magic world and the PCs, and they start changing while rolling on a random race table. The main theme is, you don't get to choose what you are, but you do get to choose what you become. Ooh, I like it. The players make their way into Leaflet, a quiet little mountain town just out of reach from the war going on between the human kingdom Larsonia and the elven kingdom known as Anisperia. This little village accepts people from each side, and the tavern is the busiest place where adventurers, pilgrims, and refugees stop by to have a good night's rest before moving on. Here, the party meets the current guests of the establishment along with some of the locals who are also curious about the people who visit. However, after the party goes to sleep, a scream wakes everyone up. Ah! When everyone rushes outside to see what's going on, they find out that nobody is actually hurt, or better yet, died. It is far worse. A piece of Leaflet as a landmass is floating in a pitch-black space, along with some other islands connected only by a thin dirt road that is barely holding on. How will the party handle the situation, and how many of the locals will survive? Okay, that's disgusting, and I'm picturing it in my head, and I hate this. In most of my games, I have players fill out a little consent questionnaire before the first session. The questions are pretty generic. What things they want to see in the game, what things they're uncomfortable with, that sort of thing. Though I do ask them some questions about their personal life if I don't already know the player. Like, what do they do for work, hobbies, that sort of thing. I know it sounds stalkerish, but hear me out. One of the campaigns I want to run someday starts out with the level 1 adventurers meeting in a tavern as per usual. They gather around a table, drink some ale, do some, things, and then I'll have them roll some checks to see if they notice something happening around them. Arcana for the arcane-focused characters, perception for the, perceptive ones, etc. All those who pass will notice that the world around them feels wrong, as if something terrible is about to happen. Then, everyone feels their souls being torn apart as the world around them goes black. Their characters are all dead. Instead, in their place are the players. Immediately after this unfolds, a wizard appears to tell them of what's happened. Long story short, some wizards got this wild idea to try some magic they weren't quite ready to handle and accidentally caused Toral's material plane to collide with present-day Earth, and all the players are now in the world as characters. At which point I will hand them their new character sheets, all rolled up with their real-world stats and classes. They'll be able to go to Neverwinter to fight some real-world army as they try to invade. Then later, they might end up at MIT watching as kobolds run through the library eating all the books. Who knows what they'll find in the world where the real world and the fantasy world coexist. And yes, before you say, "Oh, that's a bait and switch," you're right. I know it might not go over well with some people, and if the party doesn't like the scenario, I will simply retcon the entire thing and let them start with their characters as they created them in a regular fantasy setting, either my homebrew world or Forgotten Realms. Although, if I did this with my usual group, they'd probably love the crap out of it. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA back at it again, checking in after the vid. Please, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and down below, give all of us your best elevator pitch for your campaign. The cheesier you make it, the cheesier I will narrate it. All the love, be safe, be happy, we'll see you later, bye for now.